and get started. So that's one thing you never know if this is rolling or if it's not. Maybe it was that whole time. Maybe it wasn't. That's the surprise. Don't know. Okay, I think we'll be all right this year. It's always a different school. Do you want these? Because you've been in here long enough. This helps me take the content that I believe we would be responsible for and navigating you through this process. So I got 4. Everyone want a copy? Okay. All right. Yep. Because this is different than with anatomy and physiology in regards to when you are working on your short answer papers for anatomy last year. Why was what you have in front of you so important? Not only because we're explaining the content, but why else? What's on there? Yeah, I mean, what you're looking for to answer various questions was certainly on there. And when you write that information down, chances are you're going to remember it a lot better than just because not everyone is a visual learner or audio learner. Some people learn by doing, of course, and my point is everyone's different. And I'm looking for the stapler so I can pass that around. Might have to wait. I thought I had it out. I think we'll survive. I'll just show up magically later on today. All right. Still got to get all my little remotes, everything else set up in the right spot. Hopefully make this a little more efficient. Reload. Good. Okay. My fingers were crossed. I didn't know if you noticed that. Come on, please work, and it did. So when you're writing this information down, okay? Now I can pick on 2 or 3 of you. I can't remember. When we look at your lunch menu, chicken nuggets, how does your body more efficiently digest those chicken nuggets? It's something that we talked about in anatomy and physiology. It was a long time ago for some of us, maybe not so long for others. Does it ring a bell? Well, of course it rings a bell.
Yeah, I remember the question, and I know I have it written down in my anatomy notebook.
Which reminds me, we're not starting journals till next week. Does anyone need a notebook? Are you good? Okay. Does that mean yes or that? Now, one of the things to think about, and I don't know what it's going to be like for you next year, because that's one of the things I found myself talking about a lot with the seniors. That when you get to your sort of classes next year, you know, we try to do this in the same type of format that I've had the most experiences with, even recently, when it comes to college professors with their lectures. Sometimes some may just stand up there, and you need to figure out what you need to write down and find out or get a better sense of what you need to write down. Others will stand up and do that again, ask questions. I think you've been in here long enough to know that, yeah, that's what we try to do in here as well. You write the information down, and we try to explain on why why that's important. Okay, so when you think of organic chemistry, there are many different types. We finished with organic last spring, but what other branches of chemistry may you take or might exist? Because we'll do the other side next semester. Not just organic chemistry, but proteins and all those different types of compounds. It's not, yeah, it's kind of organic chemistry, but it's more so starts with a B. Because it incorporates biology too. Biochemistry, that's right. Okay, and that's what we mainly spend our time on this year. This is a lot of the fall semester, and then the biochemistry is part of the spring semester. Okay, so why would we study organic chemistry? I think that's probably the first slide. Oh, yeah, that's the question that is on the next slide. And we established this yesterday. What do we mean by organic compounds? It is a very specific question on what organic compounds are. So, if we were talking about nickel or cobalt, would we be talking about organic chemistry? Well, what did we say yesterday? We were talking about how did you know what the difference was between inorganic and organic? Yeah, carbons in the compounds that it forms. So that's what we're dealing with when we're discussing organic chemistry as a whole. Okay? So there's many reasons on why carbon compounds are, let's say, so common in nature, because it bonds so readily to other elements, but more importantly, it bonds to itself very easily. And you remember from physical science and from general chemistry, what type of bonds are formed between these carbon atoms? There's single bonds. What else? Double bonds and triple. Okay? There's only two elements that can do triple bonds. Carbon is one, and if you remember, nitrogen then was the other. Okay? So when we talk about a lot of these chains, they're either straight, they can be branched, okay? And on those branches, it's not necessarily just another carbon atom. It can be, as we learned yesterday, oxygen. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on here. But we talked about an alcohol compound. How do you know you're dealing with an alcohol? From yesterday. OH, that's right. Okay, so when we deal with this introduction, not just to organic chemistry, but this year as a whole, we're talking about the different types of compounds that we will see throughout the course of the year. It's not just alkanes, it's not just alkenes or alkynes. It's also alcohols, it's also acids, it's also ketones, it's also aldehydes, it's also amino groups. Okay? So all of those are going to be incorporated into this semester. All of that deals with what we call organic chemistry. Got my visual aid here for when we talk about organic compounds. I like to think I got this out last year, but we'll just open up to just one single page, okay? And just look at the print on there. Not very big, is it? Okay? And this is about halfway through the book. We are on page 1531. So this isn't just necessarily the known compounds. These are just compounds that you can order. Okay, should you have oddly enough, when it comes to ordering from this supplier, you almost have to have a background check and send your fingerprints in and get a letter from your senator. Because I remember when I ordered from Aldrich the last time, I had to supply them with some information. And maybe that's probably a good idea. There's probably nothing wrong with that. So one of the aspects that we try to do, you're probably not used to sitting in a chemistry class and actually sitting down here and writing down information. How's this different, even on day 2, than it was different last year for the chemistry class? Did you do any of this information? No, because general chemistry is basically all what type of solvent? Problem solving. Your limiting reactants, your Bohr models, your heat and temperature questions, okay? And when you hear those terms like joules and heat capacities and specific heat and heat of vaporization, heat of fusion, are you glad you're past that part of chemistry? Maybe yes, maybe no. So when it comes to this class, the calculators, they stay in the book, right? They stay in your lab. Okay, I want to do this one and that one. Then we'll just do some brief examples on the board, and then that'll be it. Okay. Now, again, I want you to think that part of the reason I'm asking you these questions is it's possible that 1 year from now, you're going to be asked these very same questions by Dr. Whoever or teaching assistant up at SDSU or down at USD or Augustana or Kansas State or I'm just making a presumption. Maybe you're going down to Oklahoma State, University of Texas, because you want to get out of South Dakota. I'm just guessing. It doesn't have to be south; it can be west. UCLA.
Only if I get a good visit. I'm looking at
Did you know? Yeah, this is a good trivia question. Did you know there's a private college or university in New York that's actually named after a toothpaste, or vice versa? Not Crest. Colgate. I do believe Colgate is also a private university that's in a prestigious league, kind of like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown. Those are all universities I do believe found in the Northeast. I do believe Colgate is a private university as well. Okay, so again, I'm asking you these questions because you may be asked these very same questions next year. So, you know, what would it be like if you already knew, well, that's why you do scouting. You already know who the best player in volleyball is that you're facing. Keep it away from that young lady that she's going to beat you. Or you need to guard this person. You need to double team. You know, that's what a good scouting report says. So hopefully we supply you with a good scouting report so when you take this in college, this guy, this really ain't too bad. And that's our goal. Okay, so other than pronunciation and spelling, What are the differences between those three compounds? Alkenes, alkynes, and alkanes. Do you remember from last year? Bonding is a clue. One of them's a double bond. Single bond, but which one's which? See, I really switched them up, so then, is that how did you know that's how it was, or you just figured I went single, double, triple?
No, I knew that. I remember.
Okay, excellent. Now, probably one of the, what I like to say, probably one of the most important mechanisms that you're going to be responsible for actually involves one of these compounds. And I'll illustrate that here in just a few moments. Okay? Because again, that's the difference between what you learned last year with just the brief introduction of organic as opposed to this year. Not only do you go a little further in your knowledge, but you're responsible for the reactions and mechanisms involved with organic chemistry. Now, with your time at the pharmaceutical department, do those, I almost said counts, do those pharmacists actually make their own prescription drugs that a doctor may prescribe? Or is a lot of it just locked up? I don't know.
Like the pills, or like
The cough medicine, like it's got codeine and things like that.
some of them they make, like in the back, and then others are just like sent to us.
Did you ever want to go off back, or is that off limits?
Well, I mean, when I say like in the back, I mean like
I
have access. Yeah, like
Oh, I thought maybe it would be like a
by the
door
microwave.
like this that you can't get into.
No, I can get into all the places.
Did you ever look on the counter? Huh. Fentanyl.
I've never heard of it, but like,
Did you ever see it?
no.
Now, that is something I would believe would be kept under lock and key. I mean,
Probably all of the controls or the C2s are like locked up. All the addictive ones. They lock
So-
those up, and they have to like. You don't get like free like refills from it. You have to like ask the doctor for more refills.
right. But what would be going through your mind if you know, unfortunately, maybe pharmacists make mistakes too, and maybe they're in the middle of something, but I don't think that would happen very often. But this is just a regular bottle of whiteout, but we're just going to say they're in the middle of doing something, and they take this bottle of fentanyl and just set it down. You see that on there. Is there something that would go through your mind? Because fentanyl is probably a class 2 opioid. So what is what we mean by an opioid? What type of killer? Okay. Yeah, painkiller. So what's the problem with a lot of these painkillers that are prescribed by? They probably start out legally prescribed to patients. I'm not saying this is everybody, because it's not. But what's the problem with this bottle of fentanyl? What happens to people when they take it? Because they're prescribed, and just think something like that. Once a person gets hooked, it's not one of the things where I'm just going to stop taking it. It's not that simple. How many of you have ever been prescribed painkillers? I mean, I have. So what would be going through your mind when you hear about this opioid epidemic? You're thinking, I would never have that problem. But if you would want just some advice, your parents would probably say the same thing. But if you just want some free advice with that, is if you're prescribed something like that, this is just my opinion. I'm not telling anybody what to do. That prescribe something like this, that you better be pretty darn hurt and you want to take. Okay, just don't take it because the doctor prescribed it to you. I think sometimes that gets lost in the translation. Because the reason I bring that up is when I was at a previous school, the table saw, my finger went right through it, got nicked, and ended up having to get about 9 stitches in my index finger. So what happened was prescribed a painkiller, and I tried really, really hard, and I thought this might not be a very good idea, just because it's getting late at night and maybe some of the pharmacies close, and if I really need that, what am I going to do? Well, I'll just wait till tomorrow. It was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just throbbing so bad. But why would this hurt so bad as opposed to maybe getting a cut in your arm or your leg, but your finger? Why is that hurting so bad? Blood flow, yeah. What are your senses? You got sight, taste, hearing, okay? But you also have the sense of touch. Anytime you have a sense, there's going to be lots of what endings? Lots of nerve endings. So this thing is throbbing. So ideally, what a person wants to do is you really don't want to take these unless you have. And so, yeah, I ended up getting the prescription filled. But I want to say, I don't even think I finished them. That would be a very good piece of advice to pass on to anybody. Says you have to take them. Just be awfully careful, because it's one of the things where I do believe people talk about it, that yeah, I can quit, but all of a sudden it just grabs a hold of you, and that's all that you are thinking about is, I need my paper. I need it. I need it. How am I going to get through the day? I need my fentanyl. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. But on the other side, if you're a college student and you get a prescription for fentanyl, and I'm just not going to take it all. Well, I don't want this to go to waste. What do people maybe do with the rest of their bottle? So you look to your left and you say, I got some good stuff here for you. I got some good stuff here for you. How much you charge? What's your?
Oh, that's really good.
And unfortunately, that's some of the things that go wrong. Okay, so we've got our single bonded alkanes, our double bonded alkenes, and then finally our triple bonded alkynes. Okay. So these are the different types of organic compounds that we start discussing here this semester, or right away here in chapter 3. That's why it says functional families. Okay, one of the things that you're gonna have to remember, there's a difference between a derivative and a family. Okay, now that doesn't mean anything right now, but it will eventually. Actually, I'm lying. I'm going to do one more slide because it's really, really short. then you might not even have to write anything for the next slide. Probably is should say structural formula. But when you say those pills are delivered to the pharmacy, is this like the U.S. Mail, the UPS, Federal Express?
I don't know what like who the company is, but
Like
it's
it's
from
probably not
Iowa.
one of the main three.
Yeah. I don't know if it is. It might be. I guess I don't really know, but it's like central fill in Iowa, so then we don't have to fill all of the prescriptions because there's a lot of them.
Because the reason that I'm bringing that up is, it's possible things get lost in the mail. I'm sure they get lost with FedEx or UPS as well. And just think there's an entire box of that stuff and it's lost and someone's able to pick that up. I think that's probably pretty rare, but
Yeah, I've never seen that happen, and I've never heard of it happen. Because I feel like if it did happen, then
you would probably.
yeah, and they'd automatically just like be done. Like I feel like because in the boxes, they're like boxes that are like this size of the desk and then like this high full of like, there's probably like 40, 50 different pill bottles in there. Sometimes more.
That box was just there. Who's that high school intern from Coleman that was just back in that room? Because that box is gone now.
No, I gotta hang them up on the shelf, so they trust me.
Okay. Very good. All right. Okay, and then finally, we do not spend a whole lot of time on molecular formulas. To me, the best way to learn this is with structural formulas. I'll illustrate that why here. Now, your supervisors or your bosses. Would you say supervisor or boss? They're not really your boss.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Now, they might be the other way and say, I don't want to see that structural formula stuff. I'd rather have the molecular formula. But you're not at that level yet. We're not saying you're not smart enough to know that, but this is what we're getting at here. Okay. So if I was to write something like this, okay. I got to think about this. Okay, and that might be something pretty easy to see. But if you're looking at this, at that molecular formula, when you look at that, and you might say, I think I kind of know what that is. But when you take the molecular formula and you write it out as the structural formula instead, okay, we got 2 carbons. Okay, we got 4 hydrogens. And actually, I think I did that wrong. Three, 4, yeah. I didn't quite do that right. Should have been CH3. Okay. So, again, maybe an organic chemist that probably has lots of experience can look at this and say, yeah, I know what that is. Okay? But now We want to spend more time on the structural formula instead. When you take this information and you look at it here, now, what might that tell you? It's a little bit of a review. We didn't spend a whole lot of time on it last year, but what does COOH tell you? Thought I heard it. It's an acid, yes, yes. Because you're younger than me. Sorry, but I'm just saying, if you can't hear, I probably can't hear either. So.
Three.
Yeah, the little girl that just like sits.
Is it? Why am I
Her
asking
name is
that?
Esther.
I could not care less. Hey, that's good. But this is something that you probably use a lot and you just never even realize. Vinegar. Okay? Vinegar is a common name as opposed to its scientific name, acetic acid. Okay? Very common. Okay? I probably spent a little too much time on other materials, but this is a mechanism that we had discussed yesterday. I want to give you some time to unwind. We're only on day 2. We're not going to be cracking the whip that hard yet, so we will stop there for today, and we'll pick up with this tomorrow.